What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Climb the Pocket YouTube page. My name is Steve. Find me on Twitter at Steve 2.0. I'm here with Ryan McGinley. He's at Bootleg Fantasy on Twitter. We got a real fun mock draft for you guys this week. Our first video of our many videos coming throughout the off season. We're going to post one every single Thursday for you. Everything from rankings to mock drafts to anything in between, just to help you prepare for those fantasy football drafts. So we're going to get into this mock draft, but we'll say hi to Ryan first. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, Steve. As you can tell, quarantine's going great for me. I've got my best impression of Gardner Minshew going on. At least that's what I was going for. It's kind of looking like Adam Morrison, the old Gonzaga basketball player, which isn't a great look. But I'm just glad football's back, and we're getting to put more content out. You've been carrying the YouTube for us while I've been not carrying the YouTube, so I've appreciated that. You've been putting videos up of your rankings, a couple mock drafts. Personally, you're making my life a lot easier, and I'm excited to, beat you in a mock draft.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just trying to put out some good content. Us and the team. Get everyone prepared for those drafts come August. And if you like what you see, or give us a subscribe. Leave a comment, drop a like. We're gonna appreciate all of that. Later on in the season, as we get a little more popular, we'll definitely be doing some giveaways and whatnot. So you're not gonna want to miss those. And I'm really excited. Football's back. I mean, it's not really back yet. We're still months away, but it seems in today's time that football is the only existing sport.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the NFL draft will do that, and then obviously the fantasy community is just huge, and everyone's just so eager to start talking about it. So, I'm a part of that community, so I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm ready to go full steam into the off season throughout the summer. So, let's go ahead and get this mock draft started. We're gonna be doing a half PPR mock draft. I'm gonna be going from the 3 spot. Ryan's gonna be going from the 6 spot. The roster is gonna look like 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a defense, a kicker, and 6 bench. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. So Ryan, you go from the 6 spot. It's kind of an awkward spot. I don't know. Do you have a specific strategy you're going to try to go with on this?
So we were talking about this earlier, right? And it seems like there's a ton of studs, right? Like Christian McCaffrey, Barkley, Zeke, Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook. But then the 6th spot gets a little dicey. Do you go Alvin Kamara? I got kind of burnt by him last year, but I'm willing to go back to him. I know that ankle's finally getting better. So I'm excited to see who falls at 6, honestly.
Yeah, I've done quite a few mock drafts, and I actually do get Alvin Kamara quite a bit, even later in the first round.
Yeah,
Some of these computers
I
are
love
passing on him, but I think if you do it with real people too, I think they would pass on him too, just because
yeah.
he had kind of a weird season last year where he lacked in the touchdown department, but the
Mhm.
productivity is still there when he was on the field. So he's not a guy I would shy away from.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's one of my favorite players in the NFL. He's probably the most elusive running back, and he's dynamic out of the backfield. But you're on the clock. You got a minute. You got
I'm
to
on the
pick the lead.
clock. I feel safe. I got 60 seconds. The first 2 picks off the clock or off the board were Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. I think those are pretty much locked
That's
in,
talk.
unless you get some real big Zeke fan or Michael Thomas fan who wants to be interesting during their draft. But I'm gonna go with just a real safe pick here. A guy who produces every single year, even last year when it didn't seem like he had a great year, he was still top 6 back easy. Ezekiel Elliott just comes every week and gives you those solid numbers. A real safe pick that when early in these drafts, early rounds in the draft, you definitely want to get a guy on your team that you can rely on every single week and not have to think about. So Zeke definitely fits that resume.
Whew, I am now on the clock because we're doing it through Fantasy Pros. Everyone loves Fantasy Pros.
Yes.
We're not sponsored yet, but if Fantasy Pros wants to sponsor us, that'd be tremendous. I'm pick 6, and after Zeke went to Steve, it went Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, kind of as expected.
Yeah.
So that leaves me with my 2 boys, Steve. You got Alvin Kamara, who I was just talking up, but we also have the guy who led me to the playoffs last year, the guy that deserves all of Ryan Tannehill's money, Derrick Henry. And I want to take Derrick Henry,
Ooh.
but this is half PPR, and I didn't love the fact that it's all Derrick Henry in Tennessee. So I don't love the fact that he could get hurt. So I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. I know he was hurt last year, but Derrick Henry missed the championship last year for most teams. So Alvin Kamara is my pick at 6.
And man, the difference between Alvin Kamara's receptions and Derrick Henry's is
100%.
insane. I mean, Alvin Kamara's probably the second or third best pass catching running back behind Christian McCaffrey. Like what do he reel in 80 balls last year? Like that's incredible PPR value. And a half PPR, that's an extra 40 points. The value alone in that is just insane. And when you go with a guy like Derrick Henry, very touchdown dependent.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't repeat, maybe he can get the same amount of rushing yards. He was the champion last year in the
Yep.
rushing department, but he did have to get a lot of touchdowns to just finish as the top 5 back. So, and unless you project that many touchdowns, there's definitely going to be some regression in going into the later half of round 1. Probably feel a little more comfortable at the end of round 1 taking Derrick Henry. But off the board, after Kamara went Henry, Adams, Hopkins, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Julio, Josh Jacobs, Godwin, Hill, Lamar went in the second round, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the
Terrible.
rookie. Yeah, terrible pick.
Hate
Some
that.
people are really high on
Hate
him.
that.
I've seen him go at the end of round 1 before. Even some of these experts guys are taking him pretty early. It's kind of risky in my book right now until I hear more about out of training camp and whatnot and see how he's adjusting.
So I'm on the clock at 2-7, and we got my boy Austin Eckler, the second
Ooh, love it.
most targeted running back in the NFL last year. I know Philip Rivers targeted the running back the most out of any quarterback last year, but they're going to have a rookie quarterback. I don't expect Tyrod Taylor to play all year if he even gets to start. So Austin Eckler, welcome to the squad, bud.
I love that pick because the Chargers they took a running back, but like more of a running back who's going to,
Yep.
kind of challenge Justin Jackson for that second running back role. Austin Eckler, I mean, what he did last year when Melvin Gordon wasn't on the field.
He was like running back 6 last year, and people were batting their eyes and letting him fall to 2-7. Yeah, that's way too much value for me to
I mean, I
pass
love
up.
your start, dude. A PPR start, you are
I
locked
appreciate
at running
it.
back for a while. You don't have to take a running back for a little while if you
That
don't want
sounds
to.
like you don't want me to, so I might just only take running backs now, Steve.
Well, I mean, so I'm up. I had took Ezekiel Elliott. I like these running backs are going off the board, pretty good. Actually, there are quite a lot of wide receivers that went off, but definitely a lot
Yep.
of the big name running backs are off the board. And if you look at the running backs available, I mean, we have Kenyon Drake, Miles Sanders, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, and then compare them to the wide receivers: Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson. It seems like the value here at running back is probably just a little better. So I'm probably going to lean with a guy like Miles Sanders, who I'm pretty high on
Thank
this
you.
year.
Thank you, Steve.
There is some question just because it is a Philadelphia Eagle running back, and you do not know what Doug Peterson's going to do with that group.
Hey,
It just sometimes it doesn't make any sense. But the way he
fair enough.
the way he finished the season last year was just
Fair
like
enough.
really impressive. All right, you're trying to get something now.
Listen,
What do you want to say about Miles Sanders? Let me
all
go.
I'm saying
I'll draft
is
him.
Miles Sanders is the correct pick, right? Because I'm not going to talk about Miles Sanders. He's going to be a top 10 running back this year. I'm going to talk about the fact that Fantasy Pros is telling you to take Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
That's not their fault.
I'm not looking at
You
that.
know whose fault that is? You know whose fault that is? Everyone on Twitter is trying to get you to take Kenyon Drake. Like I get it. Kenyon Drake had a good, I think, 8 games with Arizona last year. He's also had a couple games in Miami that he looked like a top 10 running back, but I don't feel like he's that talented of a running back. So I wouldn't touch Kenyon Drake at the ADP he's going. So when you see Miles Sanders and you see Kenyon Drake,
Yeah.
you take Miles Sanders, Steve.
And
You're a smart
I
man.
do like Kenyon Drake this year, but you know how much better I would feel about it, like taking him if he
In the
was at
third
this
round
pick
or the
right
fourth
here.
round? Yeah,
Right
100%.
here, and I needed a running back, or I wanted to really anchor my team with running backs. I might take him right there. Like,
I'm sick who you're about to take, though.
I don't know
Because
if you know who I'm about to take, but I'm thinking about just going with another running back and really loading up.
going with another running
I'm
back.
thinking about it. Mike Evans is there in the third round. That's an incredible value. It's between him and Leonard Fournette. And I'm not a Fournette guy, really, but he caught a lot of passes last year. But he is on the Jags. They're projected to be the worst team in the league, bro.
Steven, we're not letting people take Leonard Fournette this year.
All right, I'm going to go with the safe, big name wide receiver that has a new quarterback in town. And I'm going with Mike Evans. I just think picking his ADP is really kind of sliding a lot. And I could maybe see why, because a lot of people think that Tom Brady's just going to throw to Chris Godwin, but like he's never had receivers like this, and for whatever reason, they want to throw the ball a lot. He's got the weapons for it,
Mm-hmm.
and now they have a rookie running back, and is he really going to be the whole offense? There's no way. I think the whole offense is going to be good, and I think Mike Evans is going to have similar numbers as he did last year. 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns or so. That's pretty good in the third round.
Yeah. So now we're at my pick 3-6. We got the main guys: Amari Cooper, Mark Andrews, DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp. They want me to take Amari Cooper.
Stop
I'm
looking at that.
I'm not taking Amari Cooper. You know why? I love Cooper Kupp this year.
Oh, I do too.
I love Cooper Kupp this year.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is gone.
Yeah.
Jared Goff has a chip on his shoulder. They made him give back some of his money in the offseason, right? Cooper Kupp is his main boy. Robbie Woods, year older. Cooper Kupp, he's kind of old for a young guy, but Cooper Kupp's in his prime. This is going to be his prime, and Cooper Kupp is a PPR machine, and sometimes you get 250 yards out of Cooper
Dude,
Kupp and
he
3
had
touchdowns.
some crazy
So
games last year, and I think a lot of people are down on him just because he finished the season kind of awkward. But I think there was some weird thing going on with it, either
yeah,
an injury or
he
some.
was definitely hurt.
Yeah, no
100%.
way. Like he had such a good season going on. He was like a top five wide receiver, and then it just fell off a cliff.
Hmm.
Tyler Higbee gets involved, and it's like Cooper Cup's not even on the team anymore. I mean, Robert Woods got so. I mean, there was games where he was getting like 15 catches, like or like a bunch of
Yep.
targets, and it was like, why is Robert Woods getting so involved? Because he had to carry the load. Other people had
I'm
to carry the
I'm
load.
back on the clock, Steve,
Hit it.
and unfortunately,
Ooh,
I would
ooh.
have loved this pick if I didn't take Austin Eckler. But my boy Keenan Allen is sitting there for me at
Oh,
number
oh.
7. I love Keenan Allen, especially in any type of PPR formats, because he's a machine and he's going to be a great safety blanket. He runs perfect routes. He doesn't have to go deep. He's going to be Herbert's favorite guy to throw to. He's perfect. He's just a perfect wide receiver. I would have loved him on my Philadelphia Eagles, but that is never going to happen.
Ooh, that'd be
We're
kind
sad about it. That's what I'm saying. It'd be perfect. You know what? We're
of.
doing it,
You
Steve.
doing it? See, I was going to ask
No,
you how exactly you
not.
felt about him this year. Oh, you got 1 second. That's over.
Oh, I know. We made a surprise pick, Steve.
Okay, okay.
We
That's
went Stephon Diggs.
all
While
right.
you mull over your guys, I'll talk about why I think Stephon Diggs is going to be a machine. Stephon Diggs is going to get the benefit of the doubt from Josh Allen. What is Josh Allen good at? Making time up. He doesn't have to be perfect like Kirk Cousins, where Kirk Cousins first read ball out. Josh Allen's going to let Stephon Diggs' routes develop. And for some odd reason, Kirk didn't like Stephon Diggs. Diggs is going to be just as good, if not better, in Buffalo. I know it's going to be colder, but he's the main guy. And with that power run game, you have to at least show that you need to stop their 2 running backs, and Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Yeah, I was going to call him Henderson, Daryl Henderson. But
Hey,
yeah,
I like Stephon Diggs this year too. I like that Buffalo brought him in, and
yeah, for
Stephon
sure.
Diggs didn't want to be in Minnesota, so there was always this weird thing hanging over,
Always a
like
weird thing.
always a weird thing. And we see the talent, and and he's just like such a physical specimen, and like, dude, I'm ready to see him thrive, and like I'd
Oh,
take a chance
100%.
on that, in round
100%.
4. I'm up. I got 19 seconds. When I'm looking at the receivers, Keenan Allen's still there. You were gonna take him last round, or no, you were
I
gonna take him
know.
this round. I like a lot of the wide receivers coming up though, so I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
pick. I'm gonna take a real surprise pick, and you're gonna hate me, but I'm
Please
taking.
don't say David Johnson.
I'm taking David Johnson.
Come on, Steve.
Stop. I'm taking David Johnson. It's literally just like a dart throw. Once you get to like, and I probably should have done that in round 4 because your top 4 picks you really want to be safe, and David Johnson's not really safe. And he's on the Texans. They lost DeAndre Hopkins. I could see like 3.2 yards per carry all over his name this year, like for sure. But I was running out of time. I want to take a
Fair
workhorse. It
enough.
was between him and Le'Veon Bell. I guess I was kind of nuts enough to take Bell, but that's another bad pick. I guess Mark Ingram would probably have been a better pick, but I'm on the clock. I'm going to spend less time talking about those running backs right there and probably grab myself another wide receiver. And Keenan Allen's still here. I think I'm going to let him draft here if he doesn't
Unbelievable.
go.
That's crooked. Honestly, that's messed up.
I'm not big on Keenan Allen this year. I don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback position. Is if Justin Herbert plays, is he really going to give Keenan Allen the production he needs? Like, yeah, he's the guy you want out there to throw the ball to as a safety blanket for a rookie quarterback. But
Hmm.
who knows what's going to happen? I mean, and a lot of people are not giving Tyler Lockett any love. Like, Tyler Lockett's falling off the face of the planet. See, you're
Yeah.
looking at me right now, and you're like, this kid's draft's going off the rails.
Dude, he's about to take Lev Bell, and I'm about to be sick.
No, I'm not gonna take Lev Bell. I got 3 running backs, so I feel decent right now. I guess
The
they're
bench should
not.
be sweet with Lev Bell, and my team needs to be better than yours, Steve.
I'm gonna take Keenan Allen for the name value
Thank you.
alone and his talent,
Thank you.
and I feel like with my roster, the way it is right now, Zeke Elliott, Sanders, Evans, Allen, David Johnson, like those names on paper, that looks like a sick squad.
I'm sick. I was hoping
Oh
my
wait,
boy Zach Ertz was going to fall to me,
oh
right?
man, I'm
He
not
was
on Zach.
taking a pick after Keenan Allen. I don't want Darren Waller. I don't really believe in Darren Waller. So
I
I've
think
got 2 running backs taken, 2 wide receivers taken. I need a flex guy because
yeah,
this year there's value across the board at tight end.
yep,
The running backs that I'm looking at: Lev Bell, Devin Singletary, James Conner.
yep.
Don't like Bell. Singletary's got Moss there with him. James Conner, don't like him either. Mostert's decent, but I don't know what his role is. David Montgomery. So the way I'm seeing this shape up, you need to take a running back early. You need to take multiple running backs early. The first 2 rounds is where you're going to make your hay.
Yep.
I've never had this guy, okay? And it's asking me if I want to. Ooh. You know what, Steve?
Do it.
I'm doing it. I'm taking our boy. I wanted to take our other boy,
Our boy.
me and Jonder's boy. I'm
No, you're taking our boy?
Scary Terry
Oh,
McLaurin.
I knew it. I knew
Let's
it. I was
go.
like, who is it? And I looked at the cheat sheet, and then you said your boy, and my eyes locked onto him. I knew exactly who you were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about. Wow, there's a
Can't pass up.
little tight end run there. Darren Waller, Austin Hooper, Evan Ingram. Austin Hooper going
Sick.
that early in the 5th round is sickening. I think that's sickening.
Oh, now I'm back on the board. My starters that I would need to fill: quarterback, tight end, defense, kicker. I'm not taking one of them here. You need depth across the board, and you can always pick up a quarterback. You can always pick up a defense, a kicker, and a tight end. So now you scour what's available. Usually, I like to have a solid backup running back. I don't want James White. He's not going to be good. Jordan Howard, maybe. I don't hate Jordan Howard this year, but I also don't love him. Ronald Jones, too sweet for my liking. I don't like Sony Michel either this early. Oh man,
I think you got to go with.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't love the running backs this year past 10.
No.
Not even a little bit. And I thought I would. I don't want.
Wire year.
You know what? I've been banging the drum for this guy.
Do it.
I don't know if he's the right pick, but right now, the way it's lined up, I wanted him to be good this year. It's Michael Gallup, man.
Oh, man.
He was a 1,100-yard receiver last year.
Yeah.
He should. The fact that they're bringing in a stud wide receiver, and I'm Michael Gallup, I'm balling out this year. And he played just as well as Amari Cooper last year, and you can get him 5 rounds later. So Michael Gallup is a steal to me.
I wish Amari Cooper wasn't on that team anymore.
Oh, I know. Good thing they gave him $100 million, Steve.
You think there's like a future trade for him?
Dude, there's no way they're going to be able to move that contract. Like, no shot.
I've heard like talks about it, but like I don't know how it would work.
Yeah. Plus, did you see that they might have to lower the cap next year? Raise it? Lower it. They'd have to make it less money because of the money. It's going to be a nightmare.
All right, so
Yeah.
I'm on the board. I got 43 seconds left. I've got 3 running backs so far, 2 wide receivers. If I look at the wide receivers available, there's not. It's also getting thin.
Mm-hmm.
I like Deebo Samuel. Tyler Boyd's decent. But to me, and I know you mentioned this guy earlier, I do see a running back on here that is the the running back one on his team. Now he's injury prone. And
I know. I was thinking
he's
about him.
injury prone, but hey, when he was on the field last year, he was producing running back 1 numbers. So here in this round, what are we in the 6th round? I think James Conner's a decent pick, and as long as he doesn't get his job taken from him, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good value for him in the 6th round. His ADP is it's been hovering around there, 5 through 6, basically all off season. Now my guy, my receiver that I was interested in did go off the board, and if I did want a quarterback early, I think all the quarterbacks that I want early are pretty much gone.
Yep.
They just went. Kyler Murray, maybe I would consider here, or I really would have liked Dak Prescott. I kind of wish I looked at quarterback that last round because I am pretty high on Dak Prescott this year. But I guess I'm looking at the running back position or the wide receiver position, but none of these guys
Dude, the running backs are brutal.
Yeah,
there's no sting or anything.
I guess Darius Geis, but I don't want that much injury, on my team. I already got James Conner. I'm gonna risk it with taking Darius Geis, who's been injured every year he's played in the NFL so far. I guess I'm gonna look at the tight end position. There's a couple guys left on here that I feel pretty good about. I do like Tyler Higbee this year, just the way he ended the season. They got rid of Brandon Cooks. I think he's gonna have that role. I mean, how could you see that guy play the way he did at the end of the year last year and then change his role back to how it was? There's no way. So because I'm so high on Tyler Higbee this year, I'm going to take him this year. Or right now, the fact that just hope to see what we saw last season at the end throughout, spread out through a 16-game pace. That'd be amazing.
Couple QBs off the board.
Oh, wow. A little early for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
He's not much of a fantasy quarterback anymore.
No, I mean, in a run first and only offense, somebody took him that early. You know what? When you get past your starters, Steve, you're just chucking darts, right? You're chucking darts at guys that you hope hit, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 guys here that I'm looking at.
Okay.
You mentioned Darius Geis because we know he could be a great running back.
Yep.
We saw it in college. I also like Keyshawn Vaughn a little bit.
I like it too.
I like Keyshawn Vaughn, but I think he's gonna get overdrafted. We're going Darius Guice, baby.
Do you think round seven's too early for Keyshawn Vaughn?
I think he's gonna work his way into like round 6, just because people are going to just continuously talk him up because no one has anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's where I would be a little nervous. But I think he's going to be solid. I think in PPR formats he should be the main pass catching back in Tampa Bay. And as I'm on the board, 2 Tampa Bay Bucks are staring me right in the face. Tom Brady's looking at me.
Ooh.
Rob Gronkowski's looking at me.
Wow. Your
I'm
guy
glad.
Carson Wentz is still on the board. You're not a fan?
Listen, I don't know if anyone's more high on Carson than me. So I'm going to take Rob Gronkowski right now because I've never had Gronk on my team,
Wow. See,
and he's going to be a touchdown scorer.
I
And
don't know.
listen, if I'm going to go out in a ball of flame, Steve, I'm going out with Rob Gronkowski. He had a year off. He didn't want to play anymore for Bill Belichick. He's revitalized. Gronk, comeback player of the year. I don't know what the odds are for that or if you can bet on it, but I don't hate that bet.
All right, what do you consider these rounds? Like, what's the line to where you no longer care about like risk and you more
So,
so have to like just grab your
yeah,
guys?
yeah, you talked about it earlier. The first 4 rounds, I want consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got Kamara, Eckler, Kupp, and Diggs. I know that Kamara is seeing 5 to 7 targets minimum, right? Eckler, the same. Cooper Kupp, he gets peppered. And Stephon Diggs, he should get peppered this year because he's the best wide receiver that is on that team. I mean, they've got John Brown still, but John Brown's going to take the eyes off of Stephon Diggs. I love having guys that I know I'll get a consistent 12 to 15 out of every single week. Like, you don't want to see 8s and 9s in your lineup, and consistency is key for the first 4 rounds. After that, I like mixing in rookies, and I like mixing in guys that are in new locations or have new quarterbacks or new offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely like Geis because no one's really thinking about him. I like McLaurin a lot this year because I think Haskins will finally get to. You have 8 seconds.
I know.
Haskins is gonna hook up with him, and Gallup, he's kind of a shot in the dark. So I start taking shots 7th round or so.
So I didn't like any of the running backs there. I mean,
Fair enough.
It's pretty ugly. Sonny Michel, maybe I was considering.
Yeah, I
But
thought
I
about
just
that.
don't want anyone on that Patriots offense this year. And then Matt Breida, James White. I mean, I don't feel
Mhm.
bad about missing out on any of those guys or Justin Jefferson. So I took Marvin Jones. He's another guy that has had some injury issues, but when he's been
Mhm.
on the field, he's a lot better than people think. He's a big receiver. He can win the battles on the outside. He's a red zone target. And like if Matt Stafford's healthy all year, I think him and Kenny Galladay are one of the better wide receiver tandems in
Yep.
the league. So I feel good. I feel good about getting around in
Not
round
bad.
8. I think my wide receiver core is not bad. I mean, I'd like to get another one right here, and
Mhm.
if I'm looking, um,
Do it.
there's a. You say do it. You put a lot of pressure on me to
Do
grab the
it.
guy that you think I should grab, but I'm not grabbing Brandon Cooks. I
Don't.
don't know how to evaluate rookies that well. I
Yeah,
just feel
Jerry
like we
Judy.
don't. Yeah, like Jerry Judy. I just with Drew Lock, who knows? I'm gonna grab a
Mhm.
guy, a rookie last year, who's actually
Ooh,
developing a
I
pretty
see this name.
decent rapport with Daniel Jones. I know Eli came in there and tossed him a couple TDs in that one game he got to play with him, but take a Darius Slayton. I think he's a
I
lot better
don't
than
hate that.
people think.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I like to see him take even a bigger step than he did last year. He was a pretty good wide receiver last year, good fantasy option too during certain matchups.
Steve, part of fantasy football is doing what you love, right? And if you're listening to me right now talking,
Oh, he's there.
he's there, Steve. That's the thing. He's never available for me personally in my home league. He's always drafted too early. He's going to be an MVP candidate when he plays 16 games. Also, I don't advise taking a quarterback this early usually because the talent at quarterbacks this year probably the best we've seen in a while. Every team has their guy. I can't really think of a team that doesn't have their guy. Oakland shouldn't have their guy, but they do. But I'm going to take my guy, Steve.
Yep.
And I know this hurts my fantasy team in the long haul, but it makes me happy. And that's the half of fantasy football, right? So Carson Wentz,
The,
welcome to the team.
the way I feel
First
about
time.
Carson Wentz though is He's probably one of the last quarterbacks in this little tier right here that
Hmm.
has like the ability to be a top five fantasy quarterback.
For sure.
Like because we what we saw from him a few years ago, he's obviously had his injury issues, but
Hmm.
the dude's healthy. I mean, they did give him some receiving options, after the draft and whatnot, and
Yep.
I think it looks like night and day compared to what it did at the end of the season last year. So. They have a good tight end tandem with Goddard and
Hmm.
Ertz, and Jeffrey's still there, and they got Jalen Rager now. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not bad at all. And if the whole team can mesh and stay healthy, I think Carson Wentz is a fantastic pick there. I don't think that's too early.
Beautiful, Steve.
Yeah,
That's the type of backup I need.
yeah, there you
All
go.
2020, I need happiness out of you. So right here, this is where I'd like to throw a couple darts. Deontay Johnson's on the board. I like him, right?
Hmm.
But I think Jerry Judy, he's the number one. He was the number one receiver in the draft. He's the number one receiver. I guess he's the number two in Denver. So I'm still taking Judy, but I think he can develop rapidly with Drew Lock. I think his talent is off the charts. We saw him in college. He's just fundamentally sound. He does everything well. There's nothing he doesn't do well. I think in that altitude out there, I like him more than Deontay Johnson because you're an injury away from Ben Roethlisberger being out and that offense being putrid in Pittsburgh. So fire up Jerry Judy over Deontay Johnson, but I will hear arguments against it.
No, I don't have any arguments against it. I think this is kind of the round. These are the rounds that take your rookies, take your shot, like you said,
Yep.
throw a dart. And I like Jerry Judy. I think he's the best wide receiver in this class. So, and in Denver, like you said, with the altitude and Drew Lock, hopefully taking a step up. They definitely gave him a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
weapons, and I think Jerry Judy's one of the top ones. Going to be opposite of Cortland Sutton on the field, and it's just going to be really fun to watch. I do like Michael Pittman, who just went off the board too. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a pretty good pick right there. He's probably he's probably my third or fourth favorite rookie wide receiver. But now I'm on the board. I don't know whether to take a running back or a wide receiver. I don't think I have a tight end and quarterback. I think I'm probably. I do like Tom Brady, but part of me thinks he's going to be some sort of game manager. But I did take Mike Evans, so maybe I should double down on that.
I don't hate that.
I like
Don't hate
my.
that at all.
I kind of like Matt Stafford though. Like
Oh yeah.
I feel like I wait to the next round and get Matt Stafford. But I don't know who I'm not. Who would I be missing out on? I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the guy you talked about in Deontay Johnson, and just the fact
Hmm.
that Big Ben's back and Juju's there, and who's gonna be the number two? And I think it's Deontay Johnson. If James Washington's washed up. They drafted Chase Claypool. He's a
Yeah.
rookie who
Don't
takes some
love him.
adjustment. Yeah, some people are high on him, some people aren't. The people who are high on him are high on him, but then they have
Yep.
like some sort of question mark ending to their statements. Like it's
Player profiler compared him to Calvin Johnson.
yeah,
I guess
Calvin's
because
fun.
he's large, and yeah, I guess because he's large. He's 6'5". He's a big wide receiver, right? And he's going to be the third wide receiver there. And Deontay Johnson's going to be sick. I'm very excited about him, but I don't know if I'm ready to take a risk on him this year for fantasy.
How do you feel? Okay, so this is Fantasy Pros. Obviously, we're going against some computers. Everyone took a quarterback already, of course. There's no waiting on the
Wild.
quarterback
Yep.
strategy built into these computer heads. Um, do you think anyone's going to take? You think there's going to be another quarterback run for whatever reason? Like I see Tom
I
Brady,
don't
but I want
think
Matt
so.
Stafford. I don't know if he's going to make it back around before one
I,
of these weirdos
my
drafts another
argument there,
quarterback.
I would say you don't have to take Stafford, or you don't have to take a QB right now because if you don't get Stafford, you've got
Yeah, there's other guys.
yeah, you got Big Ben, Tannehill, Daniel
You
Jones
can
is
always get
actually
two
not a
of them
terrible
kind of
option.
and see if one of them
Yeah,
pops off early in the season.
you got my doppelganger Gardner Minshew still on the board. There's guys out there.
Yeah, man, but looking at the rest of the field, it's tough. And man, I'm gonna have to take a pick on the fly here. I think I'm gonna have to take the backup of your running back,
I'm
Alvin
sick.
Kamara. I'm
I'm
thinking about
sick.
Latavius Murray. Were you
I'm
thinking about
sick.
handcuffing
Oh,
there?
I was 100% handcuffing there
Wow. Well, I
because
mean,
the running backs
when Latavius
are
Murray was on the
ugly.
field last year,
He,
he was
he
insane.
was he
Obviously,
was
Kamara
he was
wasn't
better
there.
than Kamara. He was better than Alvin because I had both of them. That was my strategy last year. I handcuffed Murray to Alvin Kamara, and it won me a couple games. He went to Chicago, got me like
Ooh, that was a good
33
game.
fantasy points.
Wow.
Yeah, because he can do both. He can catch balls out of the backfield, and he runs the ball well. Honestly, as a Kamara owner, it's kind of concerning because Murray's really good at both things. So, yeah, I don't love not having Murray if
Hey
you have.
man, trade me.
That's fine. Terry McLaurin, that's for sure. I might take Matt Stafford here. I might take a second
No,
quarterback. You ever think about that one? Oh man, dude, the running backs in round 11 are abysmal.
this is
I could
tough.
take. Adrian Peterson? Nope. Boston Scott? Nope. Royce Freeman? None of these guys look good to me. We're
Adrian
gonna go
Peterson's
wide.
not a bad investment as a backup. When Darius Geis wasn't
You know
on the
what?
field,
I
he's
do have
not
Darius
bad.
Geis, but they've got Peyton Barber too there, which is so that offense is just
Scary,
a
real
mess.
scary.
You know what? I'm taking Carson Wentz's new number
I
one.
knew it. I was looking
I'm
at him. I
I'm
swear.
taking Carson Wentz's new number one because this is the first mock I'm doing.
Yeah, I was looking at him. I
So
was like,
Jalen Rieger, welcome to the squad number 18. I know you're going for 1,400 yards. So when you win me a championship, I'll look back at this day and say I almost took Darrington Evans over you in a mock draft,
ooh,
but I didn't. I took
big
you.
big tight end run.
Yeah,
Seeing Jonnu Smith go before Hayden Hurst and T.J. Hawkinson is kind
that's
of
bad.
weird to me because I am high on Hayden Hurst this year. I think getting him around 12 is going to be a good value. But
Yeah,
Jonnu Smith, like, I mean,
Johnny Smith's brutal.
yeah,
I can't,
he's had his good weeks, but he's on the Titans. It's like, who? Come on.
and I now have to make another pick. Oh man, this is brutal, Steve. Because running backs in round 12 aren't going to win you many games. But I'm thinking, you know what? Nope, can't do it. I wanted to take the Gus Edwards.
Oh, it's
Can't
not.
do it,
It's sketchy.
dude. I need a running back, I
You do.
guess.
Oh wow. Who do you have three?
Yeah, yeah, Steve. Because these guys are brutal.
Maybe Duke Johnson.
Brown, you know what? This guy's kind of fell, and I don't know why. Rashad Penny. He's there. Rashad Penny's still on the board,
Isn't his
and
knee in half?
yeah, but I'm gonna stash him for the second half of the
Why do
year.
you have three running backs? Can you stash anyone?
Yeah, he's going directly on the IR, Steve.
All right, yeah, if you got him, if you got that available, that's not a bad pick. I'm on the board. Tom Brady is on the. Wait, no. Matt
Oh,
Stafford just got taken.
oh no! You had to wait till round 12,
Whatever.
pick
I'm
10,
taking
Steve.
Tom Brady because I don't want these computers to really screw me up. It's fine. Take Tom Brady. I'll be the. I don't think I'm gonna have Tom Brady in a lot of leagues, but you got to own a piece of him, right?
Right.
You got to have one. And this mock draft league is the where I get him. That means I'll have him in none of my money leagues, and I'm okay with
Exactly.
that. um, so we got one more
Steve,
pick before we take a kicker in our defense.
you better take your handcuff right now, or he's not making it past 13-6. I'm letting you know right now. I would tell you that at the live
Couple
draft.
couple uh couple handcuffs on my team. Obviously, you're talking about Tony Pollard, and he probably is one of the top handcuffs
You
in the
could take
league.
there. Who
You can't talk me out of it. I do like
your
Deshaun
handcuffs?
Jackson kind of over
One of
there,
your
though.
handcuffs is falling to me, Steve, and he's going to be on my. It's going to be a swap straight up for Latavius Murray, so it's fine.
One of my handcuffs. I guess.
One of
Whatever. I'm taking Tony Pollard.
huh? I'm sick. The guy I was going to take was taking the pick
Duke
before.
Johnson. Yeah.
Duke
It was
Johnson.
between him or Duke Johnson, but for some reason I like my depth, my top four running backs. I feel good about the handcuffs I had, and maybe I can trade one of those guys away. Obviously, if this was a real league, I would do that, but.
This
Um,
is
Not
this
really.
is tough,
Maybe to
Steve.
you. I would trade him to you for sure.
AJ Dillon's off the board. He's not good.
AJ
Giovanni
Dillon. Where did
Bernard.
he get drafted?
He went apparently earlier. Don't know why.
Where?
Uh, Kenyon Drake, he has a handcuff named Chase Edmonds I'm interested in, but I'll handcuff my other guy, Steve, if that makes you feel so much better. I'm going to handcuff Austin Eckler to Justin Jackson.
That's not bad.
Because,
I was actually
need,
watching Justin Jackson game tape the other day, and people are probably going to turn the video off at this point since we
he's
have
good.
defense and kicker left, and I'm talking about Justin Jackson. But he's pretty impressive on the field. There's a couple highlights from
Mm-hmm.
2018. Just completely skipped 2019, went to 2018, and he was pretty impressive on the field. And I wish they gave that guy a shot, but I love Austin Eckler too much. I want him to get no shot. So. All right, so we're going just real quick kicker defense here. I'm taking Harrison Butker for the Chiefs.
Oh, listen, I'm on the clock, Steve. I completely blanked on it. That's on me. Hand up. And I won't take the butt kicker. I'm going to take my favorite kicker of
Why did
all
I think I
time.
was on the clock? It's okay.
Because it's me.
Don't take it.
And you saw, look, there's the best team. Oh, wait. I'm going to take Justin Tucker, my favorite kicker of all time.
Yeah, Harrison Butker's gone. Yep, knew it. I knew it. All right, well, when it comes to defense, and I think I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. Normally, when I do a defense in a league, I'm probably going to look at the first 4 to 5 games and see who they're playing, and I stream defense all year long. So I don't know who they're playing the first couple weeks. So Will Lutz was a guy I would like, or Greg Zerline.
I do like Greg.
I guess
Greg's
we're
going to
going
have a big
Robbie
year.
Gold because he's on the 49ers and they're good. So
Makes sense to
that's
me.
all explanation that needs.
Well, I just talked up my boys. So I'm going to double down with my boys. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles defense. I love everything they've done with the defensive line. They added Darius Slay. They added Will Parks as safety. They drafted Kayvon Wallace. So I like them. I like them a lot this year, and
Really?
they're my favorite team. They're going to be good this year.
Defensively?
They yeah,
Ooh, your boy got an A minus.
I got a C plus. What kind of
Oh,
nonsense is
I got an
this?
A minus team. Let's drop the minus. I got an A team, 92 out of 100.
You know, I live by a little thing called C's get degrees, Steve,
There you go.
and I'm pretty sure I could influence people on Twitter to say my team is better than yours because I've got the power to do so, or they're gonna all go against me and say your team's better.
Yeah.
Uh,
Overall, I mean, I'm not. I'm not. I like the big names on my team.
mhm.
For a mock draft, I definitely do like my team. I got some upside. I got some safe guys at the top: Miles Sanders, Ezekiel Elliott, Mike Evans. I love your first two running backs. I think you were okay to wait a long time before getting your running back, but you are lacking in the running back department just a small bit. But like
Listen,
you got a lot of catches in the running backs up
we
there.
live on the edge, Steve. We're waiting for the first injury to strike whoever around the NFL, and I will strike with all of my fab money, and people are going to cower at my team.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
not concerned. Team's going to be great,
Yeah.
and this is why we do it. We see what positions we're going to draft from. I don't think I want to pick from six.
No, I think what
I
you
don't look
want
at
is probably top
top five.
five or
Honestly,
maybe.
top four.
Well,
Honestly, if I had to be honest with you, I don't like. I like Michael
oh,
Thomas
you
as
don't
a
want to.
wide receiver.
Yeah, you can't trust that someone in your league is going to take Michael Thomas in the top four. But
Right.
but you do like Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, so maybe five wouldn't be.
Five's not bad,
Yeah,
but it's not optimal. Also, with how quickly wide receivers turn to Drek, because everything aside from like the top three or four guys feel like they're in a committee. So if you get one of the top four guys, it feels like you're going to win every single week. Um, Kamara doesn't feel as sound as having Saquon Barkley, right? I
yeah.
know they added Deion Lewis in New York.
The
We're
top
learning.
3 rounds or top like 2.5 rounds feel like there's a big line drawn across it, and it's like everyone below it is like take your pick. Like
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm going from drafting like Julio Jones to Emmanuel Sanders to like
yeah,
Debo Samuel, and like I just get angry.
yeah.
So I think the strategy is definitely early and running backs often.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely get your running backs early. I think there's a lot of value at wide receiver, a lot of guys who can pop off and definitely come on the scene. But anyway, guys, that was mock draft number one, video number one of our off-season videos. Every single Thursday, you're not gonna want to miss them. So subscribe to the channel right now. We appreciate all the following we get, and make sure you go check us out on Twitter at Climb the Pocket. We post a lot of good polls, a lot of good fantasy subjects for you to get involved with. Drop some comments in there. We got a good following. Definitely some guys who like to talk fantasy football. And then follow us on Twitter. Find me at Steve 2.0. That's with a two, number two in the middle. And then Ryan McGinley at Bootleg Fantasy. He's got a huge following on Twitter. People love his advice here. Definitely going to want to give him a follow. But like I said, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe, ring the bell, give us a follow. Appreciate it. See us next time.